You know, you think about preventive measures. You know, when it comes to your air conditioning unit, have it looked at twice a year. Make sure you've got everything charged up and ready to go and there's no problems that are going to come up. And we talk about preventive medicine. Well, at the same time, we just went through a market pullback. And you said to me the other day, most of the time when people have these discussions, it's after the fact. It's not before the fact. So let's talk about that a little bit. I got to believe that the people that walk into your office who are 60, 61, 62, and they're planning on retiring at 65, that's kind of their mindset. Let's get this going before something bad happens, like a 2008 or a 2020 or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's top of mind for people that are right at retirement or getting close. And as strange as this might sound, market volatility like we've experienced recently, I think it serves a purpose, right? It kind of gets you out of that shock of like, oh, everything's on autopilot, everything's going to be fine. And you're just like, whoa, wait a second, things can pop up. And it's not always economic things. It's just, you know, kind of pick a corner of the world and there's something crazy happening, right? Yeah. There's something going in the Middle East. There's the whole Russia situation. You know, what's going to happen with China? You don't know, you can't control those factors. So you need to have your plan in place, whether it's through different sources of guaranteed income, if it's knowing where your investments are allocated. It's about being ahead of it and having that conversation. We never try and talk people in and out of taking too much risk, right? It's more about what is their comfort level. Right? If someone comes in and it's like, hey, I've always been an aggressive investor. I know I'm just retired or I'm about to retire. I feel fully comfortable if the markets go down 20% in a couple of weeks. I'm cool. I'm going to stay invested. All right. I don't know if I'd be doing that at that age, right? But if that's where their comfort level is, it's fine. But the thing is, like, most people don't really know the risks that they're exposed to in their investments. And that's where I think the issue comes.
I talked to a lot of financial advisors, and one of them that I know has a chart in back of his desk of what happened in 2008. And you just see the number go down and down and down and down and down. You know those charts that I'm talking about. And he had somebody come into his office just recently for a first appointment, and he said, introduced himself, and the gentleman said he was there with his wife, and he said, so what can I do for you? And he says, I'm retired. He says, well, congratulations. When did you retire? And he got up, and he walked around to the side of his desk, and he pointed to the very bottom of that chart. He said, right there. And it was like, okay, now I know why you're here.
Right.
Because, and we don't want to have that happen to us. And then it was like one time I remember my lawnmower broke, and I decided I was going to try to fix it. And so I came up and I fixed it, and it ran. But I had a few extra parts. So I bring it back to the guy at the repair shop, and I got a bucket full of parts and a lawnmower, and I go, can you fix this? And it's the same with your financial life. We don't want to have it happen after one of these big events take place, and they walk into your office and say, can you fix it? And, you know, you can only do so much at that point, can't you?
Well, and I talk about a similar sort of example to what you just gave. I said, you know, there's lots of things in life that maybe you're not an expert in it, but you could probably YouTube something or Google something, and maybe you get a bit of an idea of how to do it. And I use the example of an oil change, right, for a vehicle, right? I don't change the oil in my car myself. I think it actually ends up being more expensive than taking it to the shop to have it done, right? Right. But look, could I do it if I had a desire to, right? It's not that complicated, right? Kind of, you know, you take the filter off, you drain the oil, you change it, you put the new oil in. It's pretty basic, right? If I do it and I screw it up, it's not great, but I can tow it to the shop and be like, hey, yeah, like, I'm an idiot. I did it the wrong way, right? Can you fix it for me? And they're going to laugh at me and charge me a bit more probably, and my car's up and running in a half an hour, all right?
Okay.
If you do that with your investments, there may not be a recovery.
Yeah.
Right? You may not be, it might not be a fixable solution like your lawnmower. Right? What was the worst that was going to happen? You go to Home Depot and get a new one, right? Like if worst comes to worst, right?
Yep.
You don't go to the investment store and get a new investment if it screws up, right?
Right.
So definitely something to consider.
Yep. These are the times right now as you get close to retirement where you kind of look at that number that you've been saving all these years and go, that's a good number if it doesn't go backwards. And then it goes backwards, and then you panic a little bit. Well, why don't we cut that off before it takes place?